The pain Americans are feeling at the pump is rippling through the overall economy. Businesses across the country are feeling the pinch as the cost of gasoline and diesel to transport goods to stores is rising. And of course, those higher fuel price costs are passed on to consumers. Prices for all kinds of energy have jumped dramatically from a year ago. Let's bring in Hannah Cox with the Foundation for Economic Education. Hannah, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So gasoline prices above $5 a gallon, more than that in at least 20 states. Big picture, what's the economic impact?
Well, this is devastating for people who are already living on the margins in our society. And President Biden and his administration can continue to say that they care about these people and that they care about inflation. But everything that they're doing points to the opposite of that. They continue to make policy choices that lead to this kind of crisis, that continue to make people poorer, to make them trapped in stagnant wages, and to make it harder for people to get ahead. These things don't just naturally occur in a free market economy. They come from the government putting its thumb on the scale and weighting it against us. And so I think that we have to really start to question who's working for who, because it's very clear that the left is not working for people who are actually struggling in this country. They don't care about the middle and lower income people. They actually care about their special interests and their pet projects and getting their agenda through.
I want to play for you a clip from former Energy Secretary Rick Perry. Let's listen.
People think you can overregulate, and I think they're wanting to overregulate on purpose to strangle the fossil fuel industry. Cut two out like we did during the Trump administration, and you would see the energy industry flourish.
Is that a possible solution, going back to more domestic-friendly energy policies?
Well, it absolutely is. There are choices to be made here. We need to become more energy independent. We need to actually find ways that we can cut regulations and ensure that the market can thrive. What we see happening is people putting things like their climate change agenda before actually putting the needs of the American people first. They want to push people into electric vehicles. They want to push people away from gas vehicles. They want to have this kind of society. And I think they're willing to throw people under the bus in the short term to do it. We know the things that create a prosperous society. We know the things that actually lead to economic prosperity. They're not doing those things. We do need to deregulate. We need to actually make sure that we're working to develop our own resources here. Even within the past month, the Biden administration has canceled leases that would have allowed us to develop over 1 million acres in Alaska. So these are very obvious choices that they're making, and I think it's time the American people wake up and realize, again, this is not something where they don't understand the results of what they're doing. They just don't care. They want to get their agenda through, and they're willing to sacrifice the well-being of our citizens to do it.
Hannah, if it costs more for businesses to get the supplies they need, costs more to distribute what they produce, where does this end?
Well, it doesn't end well for us, and this is something that people who are true free market capitalists have pointed to for some time. When you try to spend a ton of money, when you try to force businesses to jump through all of these hoops, there's this narrative that keeps getting pushed that only the billionaires suffer as a result of that, or only the corporations suffer as a result of that. But we know that all of that ultimately gets passed down to the consumer. You see higher prices, you see inability to get things that you need. And again, this is something that a lot of people in our society simply cannot sustain. When you're looking at $5 a gas to get to work, and some people are making less than $15 per hour. It doesn't matter what you put the minimum wage at. If the prices of goods keep getting higher, your purchasing power stays the same or decreases. And so we have to actually start looking at the root economic issues in our society and how we can fix them. And we know that traces back to deregulation, getting out of the way of the market, getting out of the way of businesses, and just letting them get back to fixing our economy after they shut it down and pushed us into this mess in the first place.
We're nearly out of time, Hannah, but the question I get everywhere I go is, are we heading for a recession? Quick answer, please.
We know that anytime gas prices have risen twice in 1 year, we have seen a recession within 12 to 18 months after that. So absolutely, all signs point to recession. I think people need to start taking precautions and preparing themselves for that, because I certainly see no way of avoiding it.